my 17th birthday, a friend of mine took me to a friend of his house, and we went there so we could drink and not get in trouble with our parents. It ended up his friend was a meth cook, and gave me 17 quarter-gram bags of meth for my birthday. At this point, I had managed to live on the north side of Springfield and not see meth for 17 years. I asked him what it was, and he explained it to me, and I understood it as death, because that's all I had seen from it, is people just ruining their lives. I ended up really just nervous about it, and I told him, I said, I'm not trying to kill myself, and I've never done it, I don't want to do it. And he said, well, I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying that's yours. Each one of those bags is worth up to $30 a bag. Happy birthday. And that's when the money, the greed kicked in. And I was like, oh, that's $30 a bag, 17. Okay, all right. I like this guy. He's giving me money. And so we ended up staying and drinking. And, I got this pocket full of meth. So I'm laying there on the couch, just room spinning, feeling like I'm going to get sick. And I'm laying there like crying out to my friend, trying to get him to come in there and help me. And like, well, how are you guys having so much fun? You're not drunk, you're not throwing up, you're not just laying there in misery. What's the difference? And he said, well, try some of that meth. So I did. And the first time I ever did any meth, I snorted a quarter-gram of it, and couldn't sleep for 3 days. I was so guilty from it. I didn't go home for almost a month. And whenever I did finally go home, I lost about 25 pounds. My mom had seen the difference, my complexion, my weight. I wouldn't look her in the face because I was so guilty and shameful about it. That's what started a decade-long battle with methamphetamine. I got kicked out of the house. Wasn't allowed to get any of my clothes because my mom wasn't sure of, what else I would grab. I was told, drugs weren't allowed there. So I moved in with my dad, and he was still in his active addiction at the time, and some of the only time I got to spend with my dad was when we were doing drugs, because that's what we had in common. That's all we knew of each other. That's all we know of each other to this day. Because of addiction, it's robbed me of my time with my father. At one point, he managed to get clean for almost 12 years. And then I went to prison, and I'm not sure what it was that snapped inside of him, but he went back to it. I just went and seen him last weekend. And you can tell the addiction's got back a hold of him. It hurts me to see that I finally made the changes that everybody wanted me to make. And once I'm better and I'm away from it and I'm doing good, some of these same people that have begged me to get better are the ones that are in the position I was in. I ended up in prison. I ended up hopeless and homeless, and started using intravenously, started shooting up. I was using at least 3 or 4 grams a day, a gram at a time. And a lot of people say you get hooked on the needle or the drug or the high, and what I got hooked on was the feeling that I got from beating death every time I did a shot, because I always did one so big that there was a chance that was going to be the last one. Most of the time I would have liked it to have been the last one way or the other. I'd come to a conclusion about 4 years ago, shortly after I started using the needle, that the only way I was going to beat the inner addict was to kill him. And the only way to kill him was to go with him. I had lost my kids, their mother, the 2 houses that we had worked so hard for, the family, the lifestyle that the world says is a success, that says I've made it. I lost it all. I was attending church service, but it wasn't on a regular basis. It wasn't serving my church. It was just going to keep my kids' mom happy. And that wasn't working. And it got to a point where there was nothing that was going to keep her happy with who I was becoming. Ended up in prison on 3 counts of second-degree burglary, which I got convicted of all 3 counts in 9 months' time. Somehow didn't catch a prior and persistent, which is guaranteed 50%, and I begged the judge to give me a treatment. I was like, you're giving everybody else these 4-month treatments and kicking them out. Give me a treatment. I need help. And he said, no, you're getting prison time. And a lot of what inspired this change was having to tell my sons over the phone that I was going to prison, and I did not have a clue when the next time was I was going to see them. But it wasn't just that pain, it was the pain of my oldest son in the happiest, most just content voice going, "It's okay, Dad," because that's what he was used to. He was used to me being in and out of his life so often that it didn't matter if I was gone for years, because I hadn't been there for years. Very, very many broken promises of, it'll be better next time, I'll stop soon, it's not going to be like this forever. But the most commonly heard promise that was broken to them on a daily basis was, I love you. I couldn't demonstrate love to them when I didn't know what it was. I got to Victory Mission and started out the program rough. And by that, I mean, I called my mom and said that I was leaving. My first day, I said, I'm not doing this, I'm running. And she said, well, if you run, I'm not putting money on your books. You're going back to prison. And I'm not helping you see your kids. In my mind, still at that point, I knew that I was going back to prison. That's what I thought, because I was still hopeless. I felt like I had no chance to be anything more than what I had already been. So I went and talked to a couple people, introduced myself, and kind of gave them a little of my story. And then we had our nightly devotion. I went to sleep, woke up the next day, and went to the volunteer assignment, which was at the warehouse. And they helped me out get some clothes and stuff because I was fresh out of prison. I didn't have any clothes. And we get back for lunch. Red Lobster had donated lobster tails, salmon steaks, crab legs, coconut shrimp, like all this great, amazing food. I have never eaten Red Lobster in my life until I moved into a homeless shelter. The day after I got out of prison was also my birthday. So here I am eating Red Lobster. I'm sitting there with a lobster tail in front of me on my birthday at a homeless shelter. I'm like, this makes no sense. It's kind of funny that this is how this is happening. I'm finally eating Red Lobster, but this is where I'm doing it. Okay, God, you got my attention. I'll pay attention. All right, just show me what's next. Then I met Kevin Strode. He was a very good friend of mine now. He came up to me and asked me how I spelt my last name, and I told him. And come to find out, his now wife is my uncle's ex-wife. And I had never met her. He invited me to the Well, which is where I attend church at now. This program, man, the classes that you guys offer, it's said quite a bit, is we don't care if you stay sober. We want you to work on the issues that cause you to not want to be sober. You guys you form it in such a way that we build lives that we don't have to numb ourselves from, that we don't have to take a vacation from, that we don't have to live outside of. I haven't owned a TV in 8 months because I don't have to escape my reality anymore. My little sister, who was in active addiction whenever I got out of prison, has recently quit. And I was her only male role model growing up because our father was an addict. He was never there. So I misled her entire life. She's recently gotten clean, and actually last night bought 2 of these t-shirts off of me. And I told her, I said, I'm just glad that you finally fit, within this criteria now. I'm glad that you're finally dopeless instead of hopeless. I've said it thousands of times. I'm living a life that I never knew that I would get to be a part of, let alone be the main part of, I never believed that I would be making more money than my parole officer, having health benefits, a 401k, paid vacation, paid holidays off. It's just, none of this is something that makes sense to me, and I'm now trying to start up my own business on top of all these amazing things that God is blessing me with. He's also like, here's a ministry, have fun. After years of literally stealing and taking the hope from others, I'm giving it back. Tattoos, I don't know if I got it lined up, they say found and forgiven. as because the Lord found me in my darkest of moments, in a jail cell, and He forgave me for everything that got me there, and everything to come. I don't have to live a life of shame and regret and guilt anymore, because all the things that I held against myself has been forgiven by the one that created me. So if it's already been dealt with, how am I gonna hold it against? It doesn't exist. So I can't hold it against myself or allow anyone else. It's done. I am victory. That is what I'm doing. I am victory. And there's nothing about my story that says anything other than victory. And that's exactly what it is. I am the underdog, and I have won, and I'm going to continue winning.